in the top left side. We're going to start off with the red Protoss player. This is going to be MaxPax. Taking on Team Liquid's Clem in the bottom right. Both with pretty strong runs today. Some good showings. Clem coming in off the back of some TvT. Killers there, then Special. MaxPax coming in off of PvT against Hero Marine, and then PvP against Raynor to get to the finals here today. So MaxPax feeling good, Clem feeling good. You got to say that MaxPax obviously looking good in that PvT lately. Has definitely seemingly found some magic in the matchup, and we are gonna go put a gateway on the map. Oh, feels like MaxPax is refining himself in this matchup lately, doesn't it? So MaxPax gonna do a little bit of the MaxPax here, and again the Open Cup Finals number 129 for Europe. ESL, of course, points and dollars on the line. Well, let's get our gateway going down tonight and see what the heck is about to happen. So gateway is placed, and away we go. It's gonna be having a obviously this looks as though we are just gonna take the Nexus back at home as well, as we do have Clem just building the barracks, has to come forward, protect his probe. He is scouting by protect his SCV from the probe. He is scouting with the SCV up the left side of the map, so is getting across towards the top left, looking to get in and to basically spot the fact that this is going to be a Nexus. And if he goes in far enough, that this will be a no gateway in the base. So that's the main piece of info he's looking for now. Oh, he's going to proxy a factory in the back. Oh, it's just sad because he doesn't quite know what's going on, but it does mean he's delaying his own expansion anyway. So maybe it ain't so bad for little Clemmy boy over here. Just going to put that racks down. I'm just going to see our Nexus coming through for the moment, as mentioned. So Clem doesn't know about the proxy gate, but he'll be fully walled off, so maybe there's only so much MaxPax can do. Builds like this, I feel like, can be very good against MaxPax because he just, you know, he is playing these tricky styles a lot. He is playing these kind of wonky openings, and when he does this, it pays off massively to have got, you know, a one-base wall-off, essentially. I mean, you are just living the dream right here. You're in a fantastic spot to begin with, so looking good in that regard. And it's just going to be seeing our reactor finishing up. More Marines coming through, and now two Zealots are going to begin to move on forward, so away they go. Going to be making their way through. Clem's just going to build Hellions, and I assume he's just going to build Hellions that are then just going to directly run into the natural/main. He's going to stack these up as long as possible. And MaxPax won't really know for a while. The soonest MaxPax will possibly know is when he's like, huh, why is there no factory unit showing up to try and protect me here? As right now, protect against me here. Right now, this Stalker is starting to do some damage to these Marines. SCVs have to be pulled to repair the reactor, of course, and that Stalker is getting free damage. You don't have a good way to shut that down at the moment. These Marines low HP. Now they've really got to kind of stay at distance. This might actually still be a problem for Clem. I mean, he's going to be holding it up for a while, but he's going to need a bunker, but yeah, he's bunker's obviously nowhere near being done extra. He's going to drop the depot down, let the units in. Get the SCVs to come in to get into a little bit of the fight. Okay, a little bit of a different approach. Now here come the Hellions. We're already going to get rid of 3 probes. There's nothing at home from MaxPax because of the proxy gateway, which is maybe why Clem goes so soon with the Hellions. However, because he's gone before he has one-shot potential, the battery is going to be able to do a lot of healing. So, yeah, now we've got one-shot potential. The battery doesn't really matter, so this becomes a little bit of a different situation, and this is where probes are going to continue to go down en masse. Yeah, as soon as we lose one of these Hellions, we are going to be back to having potentially no kills because there's a battery, right? But yeah, 18 probes going down. Clem's already done masses of damage. His command center is done in the main base, and he still has the 2 Hellions as well that are now down on the natural. Clem's going to lose another depot at the front as we've got a Widow Mine showing up. He's going to put a Widow Mine at the bottom of the ramp here and try and bait a Stalker into it and just try and get some unit kills. He is going to get himself a probe. It's 20 workers lost from MaxPax now, who is down by 4. Killing the reactor on the barracks. The Widow Mine's going to try and make a getaway. The Hellion as well. I think that Hellion maybe could have possibly. Oh, that was a weird turnaround. I feel like the Hellion could have maybe possibly blocked the Stalker and gotten that Widow Mine away. Because like Clem's getting a little bit caught up right now as this Widow Mine is just going to go off on the probe. I guess if you unburrow, it's not really going to end well for you, right? So why go for that if it's just not going to really make sense? I do suppose. But the Widow Mine going to finish up. Clem obviously still has his factory over here, so we'll not have the factory at home for a while. He's now going to start making Widow Mines in the base. He's going to kill off a Stalker there as well, so if Stalker just eats the Widow Mine shot, to clear out the way. Again, now building widow mines in the main, just going to be next to the mineral lines. It's going to force more probe kills. It's going to force a reaction, and obviously that's, for the most part, what you're kind of looking for here is the Stalkers warping in to try and defend and deal with this right now. Next unit on that factory, widow mine is going to be finishing up in a second. We pop out, we burrow, and yeah, we're good. Retargeting, I like the retargeting. Obviously keeps the probes away from mining for longer. Makes it more and more difficult for MaxPax to really deal with this kind of follow-up now, because his economy will have been sucking more and more because he's had to pull the probes away. I don't think this factory is going to get another widow mine out. That's fine. I mean, factory was pretty much destined to go down here. I don't think there was a world in which this factory was going to actually survive, so let's say I feel like that is relatively reasonable. Marines trying to push back these Stalkers at the same time. Clem's finally going to get to his natural. There's going to be a lot of Stalkers here, and he's got a medevac. He's got a Marauder getting concussive shells, but this is a lot of Stalkers. That Marauder might just be dead. He knows he needs to save it. Clutch save. He lifted into the medevac. He knew he needed it. Yes, there's an AFK mule there right now. I feel like Clem has bigger issues. Like I said, there's a ton of Stalkers. SCVs have to pull as MaxPax is coming for the counter. And, well, Clem is getting rid of quite a few of these Stalkers. He is putting some work onto them for sure. And he is going to continue to chase them away. 3-4 SCVs going down, though. Now MaxPax has a 7-worker lead. A complete ping-pong battle of a game in this first map of the best of 5. We've got 2 more Stalkers coming in from the right-hand side. Now a Warp Prism for a little bit more micro potential. This might be where Clem doesn't have enough to fight. Stim on the way, but obviously a long way from finishing. Stim would be fantastic to have, but like I say, it's a long way from finishing, so it's not here just yet. As MaxPax sits in the natural expansion, Clem trying to fight back again. Few SCVs have continued to go down here. 2 more Stalkers warp in. Twilight Council is about to finish up. Get rid of 1 Marauder. More Marines going down. The Stalkers have so much efficiency when they're paired with this Warp Prism, and that is the issue that Clem will be facing here. He's got to pull the SCVs. He needs to buffer for the bio units at least a little bit. He is going to start getting some Stalker kills if the Prism Micro isn't on point. Even if it is, I mean, these Stalkers are super low HP. Now we're going to boost forward with the medevac. Oh, that's another Stalker that will go down. Didn't lift up in time. And now it's Marauder versus, oh my god, medevac versus Prism Micro. Who could do it better? And right now I think it is actually Clem who's doing it a little bit better than MaxPax is. We're going to warp in a Zealot. Finally something the Marauders don't do bonus damage against. As Clem is lifting up everything. Finally we lose a Marauder. The Stalkers are getting microed as well. And this is going to be the last couple units still dropping down from MaxPax. He needs to keep dodging. He loses 1, he loses 2, he loses not quite 3. But maybe will do in a moment. This gateway's going to fall. No more fast warp-ins. He actually is going to have to put the Prism into warp-in mode here to keep this warp-in going quickly. Oh, the pylon! Oh my goodness, actually 1 Stalker gets denied, and this one dies. Too many Marauders shooting at once, chasing the other 2 Stalkers down. And Clem now has Stimpack to aid him in his endeavors in this game. And MaxPax doesn't have much army supply to work with, and Clem going straight across the map is going to begin to unload. Oh my goodness, he's going to get here. He's probably going to look to deny this 3rd base. I don't think there's a way to hold this 3rd base right now. A couple Stalkers warping in. Like I say, his Stimpack is finished. Clem hasn't revealed it yet. Now he will as probes are pulling forward. Clem's going to continue to micro with the medevac. The Warp Prism picking up the Stalkers, dropping them back down, but it just ain't enough. Clem has too much. He's chasing down probes. This 3rd base is in trouble. And MaxPax is going to bring an Immortal into play. That might slowly be able to clean this out. Will it be able to save the base? Potentially it can, actually. Not a lot of units left here from Clem, but he does have reinforcements about to show up in the next few moments. They're going to be getting here in a moment or 2. And already Marines stemming in, going to get some damage on the Prism. Forcing the Prism back, it goes down. The Immortal dies, and Clem is going to sign off on game number 1. He's going to get into game a 1-0 advantage in this finals. What a ridiculous micro war between Clem and MaxPax. One for the ages. GG. In the top left-hand side, we are going to start off with our Red Protoss player, who unfortunately finds themselves down a game here. This is going to be MaxPax from Psystorm Gaming. In the top right-hand side, the Blue Terran player from Team Liquid up 1-0. This is Clem. I mean, what do you even say to follow on from that micro warfare in game number 1? Really not that much. You just sort of say, cool, that was good. That was good. That was nice. That was epic. Sign me the hell up for more of that. Powerly9333 with the 500 bits. Thank you so much for the first donation of the day. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for supporting this stream. Thank you so very much. Really do appreciate it. So get into this one. Again, this map is funky because it's got an in-base natural, which is blocked up by minerals a little bit, and then has a mineral wall off, so you do have an access into the natural, but you've got to mine it out. It's a funky one, for sure. It's definitely not quite the norm, so let's see what we can do with this. What did I just miss? You just joined the stream. You need to find a clip of the micro we just watched, because it was beyond bonkers, put it that way. It was truly something special. Hello, YouTube. Yeah, this one's probably going to be on YouTube, I guess. Just for the first game. Even just the micro of that first game, right? That's all. Just the micro of the first game. You know what? Maybe that's going to be my first ever YouTube shorts. Alright, we got a bunker coming up. The Nexus coming in. The pylon is getting set to go. Is just going to be having our bunker coming through here, and just going to be seeing barracks going to drop down a reactor on the front. A factory coming up as well. Going to get this rallied out across to the left-hand side. So, yeah, bunkering up this base. You don't see this as MaxPax. You don't know about it, and it is Marines as well. This is not a Reaper, so there's going to be Marine pressure on the Nexus. And that's going to be a little rough here. Oh, this probe going to get caught by Marines, though. Clem, well, actually, is going to see that just a little bit too late, responding too slowly there to be able to pick that off. And now the Zealot knows these Marines are coming over. And it's like, oh, I'm going to just shut you guys down. Well, surprise, there's a bunker here. And that's going to probably ruin MaxPax's plan for a little bit. At least he does have a Zealot. That can help. It can tank. And this SCV is obviously going to be trying to stay in this bunker and then jumping out to repair it. And we have got a battery coming up over here. So prepping for this fight. MaxPax getting ready to deal with this with the battery online. This should make life a whole lot easier, at least. Means it's going to chip away at the Nexus, the SCV. Going to jump back in the bunker, gets a bit of repair off. This time we don't actually hit the bunker there for a second. SCV jumps back in. Ooh, that was a nice shot. That was a quick reaction that time around, I feel like. SCV takes one more shot, doesn't get the second one off. Widowmine going to run into this. It's going to take the attention for a moment. It's going to blow up the Zealot. No, the Widowmine's going to unburrow, back it up a little bit. Widowmine does get burrowed. That means you can actually sit here and kind of hold this position. Probe sends itself forward to get sacrificed to the Widowmine. And that is going to be our initial defense here made. This Widowmine burrows up in the line of sight block as MaxPax will not walk into it, though he's going to go the long way around. Clem really trying to play all sorts of tricks here already with the map. Very cool stuff. I mean, there is a lot of line of sight blockers on this one, but now MaxPax has a gateway across the map, and he's going to make use of it, getting rid of a few of these Marines as he comes in and flanks them. And has this early bunker been, you know, successful for Clem? Has it been enough? Another probe here, so he can sacrifice it to get the Stalkers in range of the base. Clem has got a Widowmine running in on the other side of the map. He is going to get in here. MaxPax has seen it coming, though. He's aware of it. And Clem will just unburrow and reburrow while he's taking damage across the map, trying to deal with these Stalkers. Holding on with a medevac, and are we really just going to get into some crazy micro again? This time the medevac is saved for the moment. SCVs do not repair the bunker. Oh, the depot, sorry. 2 probes went down to the Widowmine. And this is going to be just a depot dying, and then Clem just unfortunately step a bit too far forward. I was going to see the medevac loading up with Marines. It's a low HP medevac. This is a dangerous game you're playing, but there's a ton of space to unload on this side of the map. MaxPax is building this pylon over here as though to be a spotting pylon, but I was talking about this earlier. Do you not need the spotting pylon like here? No, like the spotting pylon being where it is just not enough. As Clem flying forward is going to see that pylon finishing up, and well, surprise, MaxPax, Clem is already here. MaxPax is already prepared for it, so now the medevac has to get out of there. Otherwise, you're going to be in some trouble because it's super low HP. So Clem doesn't get much done. Probe holding the watchtower now has full vision of this airdrop space, so that's actually really important to note. This watchtower has a lot of value to really protect you from drops and give you a lot of information before it's otherwise available. So that's going to be a very important watchtower on this map in the future for sure. One Stalker leading the charge. The reason you send the one Stalker up is because you just want to try and keep an eye on if there's a Widow Mine or so. You just don't want to take splash damage or anything, right? And the same for a tank. You're just testing the range of how far you can move forwards without getting into trouble, basically. And the answer there was a little bit. Not too far, though. Not far enough forward that you're going to be able to do much. Clem is going to defend now, and this is going to develop into a mid-game situation. Blink is going to be online for MaxPax. Clem is going to be having himself a Dark Shrine he'll have to deal with here as well. So a couple of things to be looking at. And it's mostly on the side of MaxPax who can be the aggressor. He will blink up in this position. Clem was already here with some Marines, though. His Stalkers are going to try and do what they can. We'll have a blink out in a moment. The Medivac stays alive again as once more Micro has just been impressive, keeping these units at bay whenever needed. 4 SCVs go down and Clem is able to hold on. Resource lost this game. Much better for MaxPax, to be fair. And most recently he's starting to get a bit of an income boost, especially as Clem pulls SCVs away. This is his third base, now starting to finish. Yeah, I mean, MaxPax definitely has been trading pretty well there, all things considered. See the Stalkers around the right-hand side, going to move through Reactor and a Depot. Taking some damage. Depot is going to go down. The Reactor is going to fall. The Stalkers have been able to provide a lot of pressure. And even though Clem's only defending 2 bases, it's 2 bases that have 2 very different access points. And that's kind of the weakness of taking this base on the inside. Even though there's the minerals there, MaxPax has been finding ways to be aggressive against it. Now the door is open for these DTs to just walk straight on in. Hello, and welcome to the Terran's base. They're going to split up, and right now there is not a scan available. Clem has just dropped its game. Clem has just dropped both of his mules, so he has no scan. It's an instant GG. You just can't do anything else about that. GG's. MaxPax ties it up 1-1. The DT seal the deal for game number 2. Bottom left is going to be the red Protoss player from Storm. It is MaxPax tying this up 1-1. Again, good Stalker pressure. A bit of Micro. Puts himself into a tied-up situation here in this finals. Top right-hand corner, the blue Terran play from Team Liquid. This is Clem. Well, Waterfall, shorter map. Maybe some more aggression ready to come. I actually haven't seen a lot of this in TvP. Excited to figure this one out and see what the 2 players have to show us here. Obviously, these new maps are a great little thing to get a bit of insight on, right? Because obviously we're going into Valencia next week with these new maps in play. It's really cool to actually have these tournaments, to be able to study these maps a little bit. The players have known about these maps forever. I've known about these maps for a long time as well, since at least Katowice, I believe. But obviously being able to see people actually playing on them and not just sitting in their little custom games, hiding away, playing games on in the customs, it obviously helps us out a bunch of casters as well. So that is amazing. It's just going to be seeing our probe up into the main base. Couple SCVs coming on through. Get this set up. We do have our Reaper already starting. Zealot is going to be finishing shortly. Cybernetics Core is producing. And the SCV is off and away to nibble up the Probie over here. Probe taking just a little bit of damage for now. That's going to come down, find this bunker on the way up. Barracks wasn't really super proxied, and Clem just says, cool, you got a Zealot already. There's no point even trying. I'm just going to let this get cancelled straight away. He is going to build a second Reaper still. Could cancel that, just bring the barracks back into the main base, right, and just get a reactor or anything else going, but says, no, I'll still get the second Reaper. I'll still be able to put a bit of pressure on with that. Maybe I could dive the main base, for example. Does mean maybe less units defensively against a Stalker and a Zealot coming across the map. Is a possible issue here. Is just going to see our Reaper hopping down, and just going to start to fight as the Zealot comes on through. And the 2 Reapers together It's going to ping their way through that Zealot. And the Stalker's coming across as well. Good micro so far with the Reapers and the Hellion, getting some good damage done as they'll continue to take a few shots. He is going to get chased down. The Stalker now getting chased as well. Second Stalker showing up though, and that might make the difference in the damage output on the side of MaxPax enough to turn this around a little bit, as we do have one Stalker dropping, the 2 Reapers and the 2 Hellions. Well, one Reaper goes down, the Stalker still trying to chase that Reaper down. And a couple Hellions will just sit here and continue to pick their way through the Stalker, and that's going to die in a moment as well. So Stalker also falls. Fun little fight. Early game engagements between these two are just fascinating, aren't they? 3 Reapers die, solid and 2 Stalkers. Who even builds 3 Reapers in TvP, you know? Like, that's just not really normal in the first place. That alone is kind of surprising. We've seen one Hellion pulling back, avoids the shot as we continue to fight this Stalker at the front. We start warping another one, and it definitely becomes not worthwhile to continue committing for that. The Hellion's back around the bottom right side, and they will see eventually if they can ever find a way to sneak in and get something done. Against the full wall off, it's going to be tough, but they could maybe wait out a third base coming down. Maybe they just scout that third base. Maybe they get a probe trying to build a third base. Those are the things these Hellions could still be good at. For now, it looks as though they're just going to go back home, patch a heal, and get brought back up to HP, ready for the future of this game. Tank is going to get sieged up, and thank you so much, Egotistic Bullet, for the Prime sub. Welcome. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for being so awesome. Prism continues on through, going to be popping out in a few moments. Just going to have a couple Stalkers scouting down to the south side. Pylon will get placed, and again, Prism about to pop out here as the Raven is going to be finishing in just a handful of moments. Again, that Raven completed, and let's see if Clem can utilize that, because this is going to be some heavy pressure from MaxPax. It's 4 gates of Blink Stalkers. It's one of MaxPax's favorites. Let's see if he can make it work this time around against Clem. So Mad Witch has a fairly sizable little jump up spot over here. The other thing to note, though, is obviously the rotation from this position to the, the front of the natural. That's one of the things you've got to typically be looking at in these scenarios. So it's not like super crazy. We blink straight in. We're going to go for the tank. Auto turret drops. Third Stalker starting to lift into the Prism. Decent micro from MaxPax. SCVs have to pull. Obviously, it's a lot from MaxPax being put into this very first attack. And it's going to be successful so far. The Hellions are still waiting for a third base or something to be useful for. Obviously, that's just not really arisen just yet. They've not really had that chance to do much of anything. The Stalker's going to go the other way towards the natural. There is a tank here. There's a bunker here. I don't think this is really going to work out. We blink in for the tank. The Raven didn't have the energy, really? Oh, man, the SCVs are blocking the Stalkers, though. I don't think this was good for MaxPax at all. He's losing a ton of Stalkers. I think that's way too much damage taken. I'm surprised that Raven didn't have the energy for the auto turret. I think it must have been either very close, or if it really didn't have it, if it really had it, it maybe was blocked, I was thinking for a moment or two, actually. Like, it was potentially blocked from the Stalkers. It didn't have any way to put an auto turret. 7 SCVs down, just going to reposition a tank. The important thing right now is Clem has 2 tanks, so he has a tank to support the other tank, right? It's never just one tank that gets blinked on, taken out of the equation, and that's just it. It's just a done deal already, you know? So I think that part of this is pretty important to take note of, as these Stalkers going to loop back around this right-hand side, going to look to hop up in towards the main. Reactor is going to go down. So that reactor will fall. And this barracks here is going to get pushed back. We might even lose a barracks, so losing production is obviously expensive. This is just kind of the area of Clem's main base, which he doesn't really have a defense of at the moment, right? Like, he doesn't really have a setup here. Tanks doesn't reach that far. He's been focused on defending the natural, which makes sense. That's where MaxPax was applying pressure before, and that's the power of swinging one way then the other with these attacks, as MaxPax is now looking to expand out of this. Viking gets onto that Prism pretty quickly, though. Good micro so far on the Viking. Actually stopped for a second, though. He's going to kill the Prism. No, he's not. Ooh. I was about to say, I was actually really good control, but I think he actually missed one stutter step, and I feel like that Prism probably could have died. Good save in the end from MaxPax. I still thought Clem had it toward the end, honestly, but obviously not quite the case. I'm just going to be seeing these Stalkers trading out with this Bio Force. Couple tanks making their way forward as well. Stalkers move commanded into that for a moment and taking a few hefty losses. MaxPax on his way to Storm, but that is not going to be ready just yet, so definitely notable. It's just going to be seeing our Bioforce coming back through. Just going to see the tank is coming up. A couple extra barracks coming on in. And these Stalkers just going to sit defensively for now, looking to see if Clem's going to try and drop him. He would be able to catch a dropship pretty much immediately, so gives him an option, and it's just going to be seeing our Observer gets caught there. Little medevac boost to help run along. Clem's third CC is ready to move out, so that's what he's focusing on establishing at this point in time. And actually, for the first time in this series, I think we do actually have a very comfortable move into the mid game from both sides. I don't think anyone here is specifically struggling to stay alive or about to be under heavy pressure or anything along those lines. I feel like this is actually a very comfortable little startup for the moment. Seeing what happens as we just drop a Nexus on the 4th base. It's going to see the extra couple gates coming through, and MaxPax is actually just getting ready to bust. So yeah, I'm like, well, comfortable moving to the mid game. I think it is, but MaxPax is choosing to be pretty aggressive. He's going to come in with Zealots from the right, Zealots and Stalkers and Archons from the front. He has Storm as well, so it's not just Archons. He will have High Templar dropping out of that Prism and being very aggressive here. Clem just loaded up a drop. Obviously not what you want to be doing now, as we do have this attack coming through. The Storms have not found their way down just yet. The first Storm doesn't really hit too well at all. And as Clem is doing a good job of kiting back on both fronts for the moment. So doing a great job of that. Going to see our Bio Army going to stim back down. There's one High Templar left in the Prism. I feel like he thought he could probably get the Prism there, man. It was a beautiful defense from Clem, wasn't it? Absolutely great across the board, and it's just a absolutely great cleanup. Not much more to be said about it. This attack from MaxPax, it looked so scary. He was getting so many units ready to go. It just did not work out at all. And I mean at all. Unfortunately, is this tank gonna unsiege. I'm gonna start moving down to the low ground. I'm pushing all the way across the map right here. And have a look to see what's gonna happen on this counterattack from Clem. See if he can get the job done right now. I think he might be able to well, potentially just push in for the win. Widow Mines gonna go off on Stalkers that do blink the way, so that's a nice micro from MaxPax. That made a pretty nasty storm there, as the whole position micro on the SCVs is messing up the Zealots over on the counterattack. Clem has almost double the army supply at the moment, so yeah, kind of imagine this is going to be pretty important to to kind of help deal with this. Just going to be seeing this Bioforce continue to fight those Zealots. And yeah, this is just going to be that Archon going down. These few Zealots continue to fall. The Stalk's in trouble, and our Bioforce from Clem is just going to continue down to the bottom side, looking to win out this game 3 of the best of 5 series. Just going to drop a couple Widow Mines over the left. Widow Mines power up. Probes, kaboom, kaboom. All workers going down. Yeah, this Bioforce is going to come back up here. I mean, MaxPax doesn't have the numbers right now, so this next is just going to be the instant target. No surprises at all on that one. So you see how Bioforce continue to fight here. Quite a few of these Zealots taking some hits still. And if the Nexus is down, we're going to be losing some probes. Again, there's not really much else to say, guys. Clem is all over the place. MaxPax has another base over here, which the Widow Mine is going to basically stop these, well, probes from getting away. 7, 8, 9 probes going down. Clem's army supply, I mean, overall, army supply is getting closer, but Clem's obviously putting a pretty big dent into the ego of MaxPax, and Clem is teching now. Starting to hit some of these ghosts that he hasn't had previously, and those are the sort of things that are going to help him out massively as this game continues to progress, and really should give him a continued chance at just clearing up these armies in more and more effective ways. And he's gathering everything together at the moment. With the tech involved, he might just be able to take one big fight that does overrun MaxPax, so let's find out. As we come through, good first EMP. This Widow Mine is beautiful, lands dead center on the Zealots. The Storm misses. The second Storm was better, the third Storm sucked. And that's going to be game number 3. It's going to be game number 3 going to Clem. It's going to be 2-1 in his favor now. The bottom left-hand side, down a map, looking to bounce back. Let's see if he can do it. This is MaxPax. On the top right-hand side, one more map, and he's going to be the champion for the week. This is Clem. Great confidence booster ahead of Valencia, of course. There's Valencia on Friday, guys. Don't miss it. And this might be my last map of StarCraft 2 for about a couple of weeks, guys. I'll be back 2 weeks today with StarCraft Action for you all. I'm doing a Crossfire Legion stream tomorrow, and then on Wednesday I'm flying, and then I'm at Valencia for 4 days, and then I'm staying in Valencia for 5 more days because I am going to take a vacation. So just letting you guys know that it'll be a couple of weeks of not much going on for me. I'm sorry. You guys had your chance. We did a lot this month. One of the busiest months we've had on the channel, in fact. Probe of MaxPax begins to move across to the top right-hand side. A gateway, a probe, all in production, nothing on the map, nothing proxied. Nobody playing games in the early stages of game number 4 just yet. Nobody doing anything too wild for the moment, as we do have our barracks is about to complete. And MaxPax is going to make a Zealot. We saw way earlier on today a Zealot being built on the low ground, kind of natural from, a gateway kind of built on the low ground, and then, rallying across the map, came across the map really quickly. It is a shorter map, this one, so Zealot can get across and put some pressure on, but it's not by any means the fastest possible Zealot. I could come across the map even sooner if you start the wall on your natural early in the game, right? So that is a possible factor. Probe moving down to the bottom side. Just going to see the Reaper is coming across to put some pressure on, chase that probe away. It's going to be moving that Reaper up into the natural, then up into the main, where it's going to be met by a Stalker, and that Reaper has to turn away pretty much instantly, so not much fun found for the Reaper over here just yet. Council continuing through for the moment, so keeping that up, keeping that going. Here's that Zealot. It's a full wall off from Clem. He's just expanding inside his base. He's got that factory up, etc. So, again, just established here. We're trying to figure out what's going on. Gets the scout in the Twilight Council as well, so is able to see what MaxPax is up to straight away. So, again, getting some good information to start out with, which is always nice. Information is good. We will say that again and again repeatedly because it just is. Nothing really else to shout about on that one. As that orbital command comes up on the natural, a few Marines starting to fight this Zealot, which is going to go down. And now we're going to move forward and try and chase the Stalker away. Reaper, grenade, wasn't far enough back to bop the Stalker forward. The idea is the Stalker gets bopped into the Marines there to take extra shots, but it just wasn't quite lined up to happen, unfortunately. And Robo, a couple extra gates all coming through, and MaxPax will be playing into at least 3 gates of pressure here. I mean, this typically comes with an expansion, so we do see the probe moving down to set that up. It's a good middle ground of like 4-gate blink and, 2-gate blink. It's that kind of, you can put pressure on with this, but you're not fully committed. You do have that 3rd base a little bit sooner, so definitely makes a bit of a difference. Stalker pushes the Reaper back, and just going to be seeing the Robo facility finishing up shortly from MaxPax. The Blink still coming online. And the Nexus building up on the 3rd base, so we're getting that Nexus up and running right here. Again, a couple of barracks are coming through after the factory and starport, so we're going to see the tank is coming now. We've already had some Widow Mines, the Raven's on the way. The Widow Mine drop is going to find the perfect position, apparently. Oh my goodness. It just can't be reached by any of these units. It's close as well. Like, it's very close to being shot at by everything. So it's going to be stuck there, but the good news is you're keeping a good amount of Stalkers out of the way. right? If these Stalkers are sat here defending this, then they're not out on the map doing other better things. So then you're typically okay with it anyways. And that is kind of where Clem finds himself here. At the start with this medevac. Still just chilling out. Yeah, just hanging out down the bottom side. Again, Raven finishes, so Clem will have a little bit more tech on the field to work with. His +1 attack upgrade has already started up as well. Now combat shields is also going to be coming through. And it's going to be seeing the Stalkers of MaxPax heading across to the top right of the map. I'm going to blink straight on in, and they're going to cause some trouble here immediately. I'm just going to be seeing our Bioforce coming through to try and defend against this. Again, this shouldn't be too troubling because it isn't a super committed setup from MaxPax, remember. It's only 3 gates of Blink Stalkers. That should be very manageable. So, Clem deals with it pretty nicely. Just going to be seeing these couple Stalkers grab a Widow Mine. 3 probes did go down in the end. The Raven coming in and can auto turret the 3rd base and then get into a similar position the Widow Mine drop was just in. Widow Mine drop is still in the main and is currently retargeting. Again, the more time he retargets, the more time it takes for MaxPax to be able to send his probes back to mining, so the more eventual damage you have then dealt with that. So yeah, good to be able to slow down as much as possible. As the auto turrets on the right side that are getting damage done. 8 probes fall now in total in tandem with the Widow Mine drop. Ouch. MaxPax starting to take a lot of the early damage here. Stim, combat +1, all of that is coming through from Clem, getting these upgrades up and online. As MaxPax is feeling as though he's just setting up to go and bust. I mean, charge is about to be done. He does have +1 attack finishing, but I don't know if there's any world you really need to run up this natural ramp and fight unless you're really looking to end the game soon. Clem has units he can bring in from the other side. SCVs pull through as well. It's not like Clem has a load of defenses in fairness. It's not like he's super well set up. 9 SCVs die. I mean, it's a pretty sizable amount of work as they get chipped away at there. That is going to open some opportunities at the very least here for MaxPax. So Raven tries to get down in between the bases once more. So it's going back through. The Bioforce coming along for the moment. Medevac comes back around and just going to see our Stalkers heading back down the bottom. Turret will be dropped and just going to be having ourselves a little continuation as we wait for this to get interesting again. Just again harassment on both sides. These Stalkers might run into this Bioforce, look for some damage here. Widow Mines would be great targets, but Clem's pretty quick to stim and pretty quick to protect his Widow Mines. As we have a Zealot drop into the main base, though, this is where MaxPax might be able to deal some damage. Not enough as the Viking popping out. That will be an important part of the defense. Clem is struggling to control kind of the area below his natural, so it's giving him a tough time getting in position to defend a 3rd. Definitely having a rough time with that right now as the Bio Army continues to stim through, and those Stalkers being chased away down the right side of the map. Away they go. Zealot's continuing up the right, just going to see the Stalkers join up as well, pushing to the top. The only issue I do have for MaxPax is obviously it's very gateway heavy, and I mean very. 18 Zealots, 14 Stalkers. I know this is a style lately, and so Skillets have great success with it yesterday. I see that he's teching up. I see the Robobay coming through, but right now it feels this army is terrifyingly weak. If it takes any amount of splash damage, I say just as 2 massive Widow Mines go off the center of the Zealots. Perfect example, because the moment that happened, it felt like MaxPax immediately could not really commit to that at all and was immediately running away and trying to defend. Few more Zealots around the right-hand side. Clem is going to be heading around in the center. Widow Mines Bio continues to set up. We do have the Viking going after the Ultras. Sorry, I'm reading Twitch chat. The Immorphism there. In Twitch chat talking about Ultras getting stuck on things for some reason. Sorry, guys. Oh, your Twitch chat distracted me. I'll blame it on you all. Zealot's getting taken down. The Viking continue to shoot at the Prism. Bioforce continuing into the center of the map and going all the way around the left-hand side as we do have our Bioforces chasing down a couple of Zealots here. So Zealots continue to get hunted just for the moment. And there's a couple of Zealots coming up the right-hand side as well. Not going to really be able to do all that much, as we are going to start picking our way through this set of rocks. So opening up the rocks a little bit. Just going to see both those Zealots getting cleaned out. More of these Zealots taking damage as well. Stalker's blinking up top. The Zealots wanting to charge through. Bio Army coming in to start fighting here. And that one Colossus, a little bit of splash damage, which is much needed, but it doesn't have range, so it has to be very careful with how far forward it moves. I love what Clem's doing, just leaving the Marauders at the front to do a lot of the tanking of the Colossus fight right now. These Widow Mines will go off heavily on the Zealots. Oh my goodness! Zealots actually blew up there. Usually you see the Zealots like take some damage. It's like, oh, now they're softened up. This time the Zealots died. I mean, that was a firework display of Zealot body parts, unfortunately, for Protoss fans out there. And MaxPax taking some hefty damage. Just struggling so much to get up to the splash he needs to seemingly, truly, safely be in this game still. Clem is getting Viking production really up and running too, so he's going to have a better answer to Colossi as the Colossus count gets scarier. Ooh, some reinforcements from Clem getting caught as MaxPax. I like what he's doing. He's still not afraid to take a step forward and say, okay, maybe I can catch you off guard. Maybe I can see an opportunity, get some units. That is how MaxPax is going to stay in this, shaving off some units of Clem here and there. I'll also say that Clem's army is obviously kind of bruised up already. Got a Matrix on one Colossus, actually chased that one down, so keeping the Colossus count low. Going to obviously keep Clem being aggressive, but I mean, can he keep fighting? I feel like right now you've got to just stop and say, Clem, look, your bio units are low HP, let's get them healed up. Anytime you stim right now, you're putting them within range of dying to Stalker shots or Zealot swipes. You got to be really, really cautious about that. More shots going down, being traded out. Bioforce going back around the bottom right. We do see the SCVs getting saturated on a 4th base. MaxPax trying to get up to base 5. Clem is almost maxed. About 40 supply ahead of MaxPax at the moment, so MaxPax trailing heavily. Widow Mine drop here. Might find all these probes just moving over. No reason for MaxPax to really be watching here. Oh my goodness. So unlucky for Clem. Moments, like a split moment sooner, and that would have been like 5 probes. Not the biggest of differences, just could have been so much more. It felt like it was almost timed perfectly to catch the probes transferring. As you see a few Zealots in the main base, Clem hasn't had to deal with pressure on his side of the map in a while, so let's see if he passes this defense check, because obviously losing a full mineral line can still be very bad for him, and he's going to start pulling back in full, losing a lot of SCVs, doesn't have the units here initially. Viking initially has missed that Prism. This Widow Mine comes back online, gets 2 probes again. Still not really the best shot, but obviously Clem isn't paying attention to it now, doesn't retarget it or anything. This Viking landed, I thought it was just going to start putting some damage onto the Prism and start pushing that out of here. Yeah, Clem is, I mean, in the end, he turned back around to try and fight the larger army, but actually turns out that maybe he should have continued to go back home, because he's had to pull back home in the end anyway. And again, really not doing a good job of dealing with the Prism. I don't know if he didn't realize it was there, but could have had that killed off, surely, with the Vikings that he has. Yeah, he could have done a lot more about the Prism that he just hasn't done. So that does allow MaxPax to get 13 SCVs. Pulls Clem army back, and that gives MaxPax time to really get some splash on the field. Because now, MaxPax has not only got some Colossi out, but he's going to get Disruptors out before Clem fights again. So the next fight is going to be very different to what we've seen up until now. I'm probably going to wait until 2-2 upgrades. That medevac unit seen, blinked on, killed immediately. Nice catch from MaxPax, just fortunate to be here in that moment. Widow Mine and 2 Marines does remove the Warp Prism at least, so Clem doesn't have to deal with that. He does have to deal with this larger army pushing forward. That one Disruptor needs to be careful. Clem will not hesitate at all to jump on that if he needs to. Pulls back away from the Disruptor shot, dodging it for the moment. Vikings coming through, putting some damage on the Colossi. EMP is going down. Zealots being chased away. I'm just going to be seeing those Disruptors having to back away from this as well right now. Clem up about 10 army supply. Down a lot of SCVs. MaxPax going to have a lot of reproduction available as he sits on 85 workers in the game. Clem has a big drop moving onto the right side. This could go in 2 ways. If this turns in, I think Clem knows his army's here because he's got a sensor tower. So I think he's unloading, expecting this to be a flank in of his own. Maybe get in toward the Colossi and the Disruptors. Yeah, he's going to scan it. He sees what he's fighting against. He can decide how he's going to engage into this. That Disruptor shot looking good on that top left-hand side, but here comes Clem from the bottom as well. I don't think this is going to work for Clem at all, though. The surround is just getting picked apart by the Colossi shots. Now some Vikings starting to work through that. Disruptor shot is good. We chase the Colossi down with these Vikings, though. How many can we get? Gonna go for another one here. Clem is still chasing in. EMPs lather up the Zealots. No shields remaining on those guys. Disruptor shot doesn't land on anything. The last Colossus falls. It's Disruptors to keep Clem at bay, to stop him from just chasing on in. That is the plan right now from MaxPax. This Prism coming back. Yep, there's still a Wood of Mine there as well, but the Vikings here are going to step perfectly to get the kill this time. That's not going to be an issue, and Clem is going to stop the Prism once again. He's on the left side. MaxPax is not in position to protect this base at all. His army's in the middle of the map. Maybe a recall over here, but a recall's dangerous because it's going to come in late, and he would probably lose a lot of the units that were on that base. Clem doesn't kill any of the workers, just the Nexus. And MaxPax has the bottom right to send probes too, so again, MaxPax's massive economy is not really being hindered just yet. He starts to push in. Clem has Vikings that don't really have anything to utilize themselves on here, just some extra damage as they land. Let's see if they can be useful, trying to get rid of the Disruptor from the high ground. Oh, this is a good flank in from Clem. He's going to target down Disruptors. One of them goes off, massive connection. But we killed off a lot of them. It's just not enough at all. MaxPax is not losing these fights. This is going to go all the way to game number 5. Clem really had MaxPax on the run in this game. He had MaxPax hiding away. He had MaxPax on no tech. It really got turned around. That one Prism plane to the main that Clem didn't deal with quickly. He didn't pull back initially, and it just felt like that was the moment. MaxPax suddenly gets all this tech on the map. And again, this entire time, MaxPax's economy, ridiculous, right? Just 85 workers, ton of bases. Clem's just never really had that really pressured at all until very recently he killed off a base. And even then, I don't even feel like killing one base was all that important in the grand scheme of things. This is indeed going to game number 5. I mean, there's no surviving this anymore from Clem. It's funny as well, because I feel like the idea of the flank from Clem was really good, but what might have been better, he had so much time before MaxPax attacked in. Might have just been better to send those units just down across the map and counterattack, and maybe they could have killed a base or so. And then MaxPax, because the units on the flank died so quickly anyway, there was only a few left after the first volley of Colossus shots. Just didn't feel like they really achieved anything at all. And kind of a wild game. A great series here in the finals of ESL Open Cup. We're watching Clem basically decides when he wants to die. As Disruptors continue to zone him out, obviously there's just no real recovery from this. We've talked about this, we know this. This is, again, waiting for the game to end at this point. It's funny, MaxPax has like 50 more workers or so, 57 more workers in the game, so his actual army supply, I suppose, isn't that much bigger than Clem's, but obviously when you've got that much production and now you're affording DTs because you're not under pressure, so you can afford these things you're not being able to, afford before. Definitely making a difference. Disruptor shot after disruptor shot. Continue to land. All that good stuff continuing through. And yeah, this really should just be game in a little bit, guys. I mean, again, just waiting for Clem to make one too many disruptor shots or so. Something like that. Zealots and DT is going to jump in over here. Get rid of this planetary fortress. Repair will not save this. GG's. And we are going to game 5. Alright guys, I gotta run. This is the first ever ladder map to do this. In the bottom left-hand side is going to be our red Protoss player from Storm Gaming. It is MaxPax tying this up 2-2. Good with this style, huh? Top right-hand side, give it up if you're cheering on the blue Terran player from Team Liquid. This is Clem. Game 5 of the series. Have it set and ready to go. Gateway coming down. Probe onto the map from MaxPax. And see what happens on Tropical Sacrifice, guys. What's up, Hungry Hugo? Thank you so much for the 1 year on the Prime sub. Thank you so very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed. KLF1415, thank you so much for gifting us up to Hero Marine. Appreciate the gifted sub. Thank you so much for your generosity. Thanks for supporting the channel today, guys. Appreciate it. One last time, you got those subs to drop, please do. And also, just want to quickly mention NordVPN, our sponsors, just as this game goes on. I haven't mentioned them today. I've got to mention them once in a stream. Great VPN service, the best out there. If you are looking for a VPN to cover all your VPNing needs, be it watching videos outside of your region, or connecting to different game servers than usual, or playing Diablo Immortal in places it's banned because of loot boxes, whatever your reason might be, NordVPN will have you covered. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask them. !Nord in the chat. You get a special discount with my code by going to nordvpn.com/wardy, which is the link when you type in !Nord. And of course, I greatly appreciate it, so do check that out. And thank you so much if you do. Hells yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. Probe gets down the bottom. That's going to be seeing our SUV coming across. And let's have a look around the map, shall we? Like I say, main base goes to low ground, goes to low ground, goes to low ground again for the middle of the map, which has this triple bridge to maneuver around. Obviously, this means typically 4 bases are pretty safe. As you see the Adept coming through the center. And the Reaper is just going to grab himself a probe already. So 1 probe down, hopping into the main base here, and a Twilight Council in production on the side of MaxPax. It's going to be seeing our couple Marines in the Hellion coming through on the side of Clem. Starport coming up. And just going to be seeing our depots lower. They raise. This Ripper is still having a bit of fun so far. How many gates is MaxPax going to play with the Blink? Probably only 2, I think. I think this truly is just going to be 2 gates, expand, and go from there. The Reaper gets up just before we have the final Adept shot. Oh, comes back in. This Reaper is playing games right now, I'm telling you that. Alright, well, Reaper just about escapes away. I'm just going to be saving across the map. This Adept goes down as well. Did the mule actually get killed? I didn't get here in time to see whether the mule was killed fresh or if it just died of kind of being old, but it was obviously out of position. So maybe it was a fresh mule that was running around. Kind of a weird place for the Adept, for the mule to be running to, though, honestly. Hellion moving out. Reaper is coming around the other side as well for the moment. Stalker gets through, and it's actually going to be able to grab that Reaper. And now the Hellion is just going to take charge. We actually do see the 2 extra gates. I thought we were just going to see 2 gate expand, but nope, it's going to be 4 gates. And MaxPax going to apply the pressure. Watch this Hellion interaction, and we'll have a look at how the main base works a little bit here on Tropical Sacrifice for Blink Stalkers. Yeah, I mean, obviously you can pressure up here, but it is up a ramp to pressure, and then you have to come all the way around here. I guess you could come over here and blink into the natural if you want, or you can go over here and blink in the main, so I guess it is pretty good. You can rotate between, I don't know why I'm moving the mouse stupid. You can rotate between those couple positions quite easily. Do you grab the Adept? It's going to be seeing a few extra Stalkers warping in on the Prism. Extra Stalkers coming across the map. Heading to the upper right-hand side. Stimpack is already building up here. We do have the Stalkers ready to go into the main. So let's see how MaxPax can do. First tank is positioned on the low ground. Second tank is so close to finishing. Needs to siege up like right now. Yeah, the Blink's already used, so you're actually safe to siege up here as well. We'll auto turret just to make sure the Blink doesn't go down. And as we lift up those first few Stalkers, they come back in. Tank shot fires again. Not too much damage just yet. More Stalkers continue to come around. Just going to be seeing our Stalkers blinking back out. A few of them blinking behind the mineral line. 2, 3 SCVs going down. So MaxPax just getting what he can with this army for the moment, and then getting out of there for the moment. So Stalker's just going to warp in. MaxPax ready to hop into the main. Sorry, the natural here this time around. Does get the tank and the Raven. 2 Stalkers I see going down so far. We get a 3rd Stalker kill from Clem. Tank shot's about to fire, but the moment that tank was about to turn and shoot, MaxPax had the Blink out again. So it feels like MaxPax is getting some good damage done early. Resources lost 1.1k to 1,000. Not bad so far from him. Getting rid of the tank and the Raven removes, obviously, I mean, tank especially. The Raven is nice as well. A lot of energy over time that can be useful. Stim is now done, though, and this is actually a big deal, as now you can obviously chase these units down much more effectively than you could before. And that should start to be the beginning of the end of this pressure from MaxPax. At this point, Clem might even be able to find his way across the map to deal some damage too, but if he does, he's going to be running into charge lots. That upgrade completed. MaxPax has also bought himself time for the majority of these gateways to be finishing, so he'll have a ton of gateways to warp in those charge lots with. This Prism kind of stuck here, but as long as this amount of units sits here, I don't think MaxPax really minds, because it means he's not being counterattacked. So, you know, sometimes it's the Widow Mine drop that does this. This time it's the other way around. It's the Terran camping out the Protoss units over on this upper corner. Looks like Gate still coming through. The Temple Archives is going to be finishing up, and yeah, MaxPax probably going to look for a pretty quick storm there off the Temple Archives. Could just add a couple Archons in, but I feel like lately he has enjoyed just getting the storm up and playing with that. We do scan the Observer. Prism recalls out if Clem notices. Yeah, just as the Vikings are popping too, so good timing to get the Prism out of there. And Clem's going to at least try to go across the map. You kind of got to at least give it a go, right? Oh, Vikings careful, though. The medevac reveals itself and does go down. Good catch from MaxPax, maximizing what he can do here so far as these Marines continue in. One Stalker goes down, a couple of them blinking back. Rest of this army from Clem moving down the ramp and continuing down to the bottom left-hand side. Storm is continuing to chrono boost. The +1 attack is coming in. Still taking quite a bit of damage. The Bio Army still coming through there. A couple of Vikings landing. As the Zealots unloading in the main base, SCVs are going to come through for a bit of a surround here. And this Bio Army will get Tank Siege in a pretty nice position in the end. We have morphed in Archons. Don't have time to wait for that Storm upgrade. First Widow Mine shot going off as the Zealots clump up a little bit around the Siege tanks here, but Clem is not having a good time. Plus, he's losing all of the SCVs to Zealots and Widow Mine shots across the map. The Archons are going to buffer this army down as well with the splash damage, and this seems very manageable amount of units now for MaxPax, who's got the Zealots in front to tank. And this Bioforce has to go running. And Storm is now about to finish, so it's only getting better. We stopped to actually kill off the Widow Mine as well. It doesn't get to fire. And Clem actually might be in trouble here. All these units are such low HP. He has nothing coming from the natural at the moment. A couple of Marauders on the way. MaxPax is going to at the very least get a few SCV kills here, so Clem's going to fall even further behind on economy. And it looks like MaxPax is going to get it done against Clem in the best of 5. This aggressive Protoss play, it's what MaxPax does best, and I don't know if it's just the new maps and the Terrans need a little while to adapt to it again and figure them out, but it really seems like MaxPax has come back into his element in this PvT matchup with these aggressive openers, putting him in good positions, able to scrap it out. It felt like MaxPax, you know, for a long time had kind of gotten stuck doing this stuff and wasn't able to be that successful with it, but right now it's finding success with it once again. And like I say, it's kind of coincide with these new maps being on the EPT Cups, but we shall see. This would be 2 in a row for MaxPax if he wins tonight, by the way. Again, taking down here, Marine and Process and Clem, obviously in the finals. It's again just something that sort of states like, hey, look, I'm really improving. It's really sad that MaxPax is not going to be in Valencia, guys. I mean, I would love to see what this guy could do at an offline event, but is he just never going to play at an offline event? I mean, that's kind of crazy. Life Force will stem forward. Widow Mine does get burrowed. It's actually going to be a reasonable first start of the defense from Clem, who's now having to deal with Storm. Two medevacs load up, away they go. Zealot still on the 12 o'clock. Widow Mine's burrowing up here. Is just going to be seeing a couple of Zealots getting blown up by these mines. More Widow Mines going off. Zealot's taking quite a bit of damages. We are just going to have one more Zealot going down. We pick that off as well. A few Zealots coming in from the top side. Coming in from the top. These other Zealots continue to get picked away at right here. Extra Zealots continue to warp in. Just charging after that Bio Army. Clem, very low supply. MaxPax warping into his natural, and the army supplies are still kind of even-ish, but obviously I feel like MaxPax is just going to keep on warping in so much more than Clem can build, as Clem's units are, I don't think, being controlled really anymore. APM at a 0. GG's. MaxPax 3-2 over Clem. Takes this ESL Open Cup victory. Congratulations, MaxPax.